Okay, I hope now I am audible to each and every one of you. All right. So I will edit this starting portion. Okay. So my dear friends, apologies for a technical glitch. Okay. I hope now I am audible to all of you. So friends, welcome once again on the YouTube channel of BYJU'S Exam Prep. Now today in this session, I will be telling you, I'll be mentoring you with the topics that you need to start your preparation with for the examination of CAT 2024. All right. Now, in case you are an aspirant for CAT 2024 and obviously the other management examinations like ZAT, SNAP, Narsi Munji, MHCT, and so on, and you have recently started your preparation or you will be starting your preparation in the upcoming days, then this session will prove to be very handy for all of you. Now, after attending this session, you'll be able to understand what all things, what all topics, what all concepts are there with which we must start our preparation with. Now, I have come across plenty of students who start their preparation without making a proper study plan. They don't know what are the things that they should start with. They don't know what are the things which will help them in making their fundamentals strong. And they start their preparation randomly, and they start picking up the topics one by one. Okay. Now, what happens is after 2 or 3 months of preparation, now you must be able to solve some basic level questions. But if your direction is not good, if your direction is not idle, then in that case, after 3 or 4 months, you will not be able to solve those basic level problems, and that will be very harmful. That will be bad for your confidence, right? So after 3 or 4 months, when you are unable to solve some questions which are from the basics, which are from the fundamentals, then it will be a dent, a big dent on your confidence, and you will not be able to recover at that point in time. So in this session, I will be discussing about all the three sections of CAT and will be telling you what you need to do in the next 15-20 days or the next 2 months. Okay. Now there will be some things that you need to carry forward for the next 6 months or maybe 1 year up to the CAT examination. But the number of hours that you will be spending today, it will keep on reducing if you will continue all these things regularly. Okay. So obviously, the things that you will start with today will not be doing all those things after 6 months or after 8 months, right? Now, the number of minutes that you'll be spending on all these things will keep on reducing because you will be gaining all those skills in these days to come. Okay. So I'll be discussing about each and every section. First of all, we'll be talking about quantitative ability, then logical reasoning and data interpretation. And finally, we'll be telling you something that you can start with in verbal ability and reading comprehension. Okay, I'll be telling you what you need to do, and I'll also be guiding you how you can do all these things, how you can make sure that you will follow all these things at least for the next 2 or 3 months. Okay, so let's begin with this. So the first section comes is quantitative ability. Now these are some things that I have written that you must start your preparation with. Okay. Now first and the foremost important thing is calculation techniques, right? So when it comes to addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, it's absolutely fine. But when it comes to squaring and cubes, then a lot of us struggles at that point in time. Okay. So to start with, you must remember by heart. Okay, याद करना है, रटना है. You must remember the squares of first 25 natural numbers. There are some direct usages as well as indirect usages for this. Okay, so if you remember the squares of first 25 natural numbers, then it will help you in finding the last two digits of any number raised to the power any other number, right? So the application of this particular thing will be helpful if I'll give you a question like 37 raised to the power 428. Obviously, it's a very big number. What will be the last two digits of this number? Okay, so to start with, you need to remember the squares of first 25 natural numbers. Also, you need to remember the cubes of first 15 natural numbers. So this is something that you must start. Okay. Now next, to build up your fundamentals comes percentages. Now percentages is the backbone of quantitative ability as well as data interpretation. In data interpretation, you will not find any set which does not use or which does not have the application of percentages. So you'll find percentages in quantitative ability as well as in data interpretation. In quantitative ability, definitely there will be some more number of concepts that will be applied using percentages like profit and loss and simple interest, compound interest. But in data interpretation, if you are good in percentage calculations, then it will save you hell lot of time. Okay, so there might be some calculations in which other students might be taking 2 or 3 minutes to find the answer, but using some techniques, approximations, calculations of percentages, you will be able to get the answer of the same question in less than 30 seconds. Like, believe me, I know that. So you will be able to do that in less than 30 seconds, right? So one thing in percentages that is most important is percentage equivalence of fractions. For fractions, the percentage equivalence of fractions. Okay. Now, percentage equivalence of fractions का मतलब क्या है? Understand this. So, if I write a fraction half, I can say that this is equivalent to 50% of anything. So, if 50% of anything is asked to be calculated, I may calculate 50 percentage or I may calculate half of that value. Both are equivalent. Similarly, 25% corresponds to 1/4 of any number. 33.33 corresponds to 1/3 of any number. So likewise, you need to remember the percentage equivalence of fractions up till 1/30. So 1/2 कितना परसेंट होता है, 1/3 कितना परसेंट होता है, 1/4, 1/7. 1/7 is 14.28 percentage. So in any question, let's say if it is written that a certain value is increased by 14.28 percentage. Now calculating 14.28 percentage of any number seems to be slightly difficult, but calculating 1/7 of that number looks easy and it's fast as well. Okay. So converting percentage into their equivalent fractions is important. So if you'll not remember all the percentage equivalence of fractions up till 1/30, then you'll not be able to implement these things. Okay. So you need to remember all these things, right? Now, next thing that comes is properties of numbers. Quantitative ability, numbers is everywhere. Numbers is the backbone. If you don't know what all different types of numbers are there that exist, then probably you will not be able to comprehend the given data in a question. So let's say a question is saying that x and y are rational numbers. Okay. Now, if you don't know the definition of rational numbers, if you cannot identify rational numbers, then you will not be able to know anything about these variables x and y. Let's say a question gives you an equation which is 2x plus 3y is equal to 93. They are asking you to calculate natural number solutions of this equation. Natural number solutions, whole number solutions, positive integral solutions, negative integral solutions, right? So if you don't understand these words, if you don't understand integers, if you don't understand whole numbers, then it's a waste of time for you to get into this question. You will not be able to make a single step in this type of question, right? So properties of numbers, knowing what are different types of categories of numbers becomes very important. All right. So this is one another thing that you must plan in the initial stages of your preparation. Next thing is, other than properties of numbers, some concepts of LCM and HCF must also be known. Now, LCM, HCF, they may be used directly or indirectly in the question of numbers, but they may also be used in doing certain calculations. For example, I have 1/12 and 7 upon, let's say, 34. I have to add these two. So what we do is adding fractions. So I'll write LCM of these two denominators here. Okay. So if you don't know how to calculate LCM of these numbers, then it will take plenty of time. You will have to You will have to waste a lot of time to get the answer for this. Similarly, LCM is one concept that will be used in the chapter of time and work. Okay, while solving the questions of time and work, LCM method is one of the methods that you can use to save your plenty of time. Okay, so LCM HCF की basic properties पता होनी चाहिए. We should know how to calculate LCM and HCF. All right. So these are certain things that you need to start with. Now, out of these things, there may be some things that will be a continuous process. Okay. So like calculations and approximations, you cannot improve these things in a matter of one day or 1 week or 1 month. So if you are continuously engrossed in this, okay, so regularly you are doing some practice for calculations and approximation techniques, then only you will be able to save your time while handling some difficult or bigger calculations, right? So basically it's a skill building. It's not a knowledge. Calculations is not a knowledge. You cannot cram each and every multiplication. You cannot cram the answer for 48 multiplied by 97. Obviously you cannot cram. You need practice. Okay. So with practice, the amount of time that you will be taking in calculations will keep on reducing. Okay. So probably you'll have to continue practicing these calculations and approximation techniques for the next 6 months, for the next 1 year, up till the day of CAT. And certainly, more amount of practice you will do, less amount of time you will take to handle any calculation, right? Secondly, squares and cubes and these percentage equivalents of fractions, right? Also, you will have to continue practicing or revising these numbers at least for the next 2 or 3 months. I'm sure that you cannot learn these things in a matter of 2 days. दो दिन में learn नहीं कर सकते. So if you write all these numbers on a piece of paper, you will cram it today, you will cram it tomorrow, and you will not see it for the next 10 days. I'm sure that you will forget half of these numbers. Okay. So for the next 2 or 3 months, you must devise a technique using which you will get to see all these numbers almost on daily basis. It is hard to open a notebook and read all these numbers. So what I did when I was preparing for my CAT examination, what I suggest to all my students is take the printouts of the squares, cubes, and percentage equivalents of fractions. Take 2 or 3 printouts of each of them and paste these papers in your study room, around your double bed, around your sleeping bed, in your washroom as well if you have a personal washroom. Okay, fine. So you can paste these papers like at a lot of places in your house, and whenever you are passing by, just pick up 2 or 3 numbers from that sheet, and that will act as basically it will help you in revising these numbers. It will help you in keeping in touch with these numbers at regular intervals. Okay, so इनको अगर रटने बैठोगे, you will be able to cram them. You'll be able to remember them for the next 2 or 3 days, maximum 1 week. But if you are out of practice for these things, then you will certainly forget this. These things will keep on fading away from your mind. Okay. So why not just take out 2 or 3 printouts and paste it at random places inside your house, right? Whosoever has done this is able to remember all these things for a more period of time. Okay. Now, this was about quantitative ability. Let's move on and look at the section of LR and DI. Now, data interpretation and logical reasoning. To start with data interpretation, again, it is more about calculations, less about reasoning. So, at the beginning, you must be good with percentages, understanding the ratios, and handling the questions of averages. So percentages, ratios, and averages, these are the 3 things that you must prepare in the next 1 week to handle all the questions of data interpretation to start with. Then you start solving some basic level sets which will involve the data which is given in the form of tables, bar graphs, line charts, pie charts, histograms, slowly and gradually raise up the level of difficulty. So what you can do is, first of all, you can start with a single chart data interpretation sets in which there is only one table or only one bar graph or only one pie charts. Then you can start with the questions having multiple charts. So let's say there are two pie charts which are interrelated with each other. So later on, when you are done with all the single chart questions, later on you can add up to the difficulty level and look at the questions involving multi charts. But this is not the thing that you should start with. Okay, so you must always start from the basics. Now here also remembering the percentage equivalence of fractions will help you, because lots of questions will involve calculations like 16.66 percentage of something, right? So 16.66 percentage is 1 by 6 of any number, and that will save your time. Okay. So this is about data interpretation, and this must be continued for the next 1.5 months. If you are practicing at least 2 or 3 sets of data interpretation on daily basis. If you are doing it on alternate days, then you can continue it for 2.5 months. All right. Now comes logical reasoning. Now, logical reasoning, you cannot directly start with the topics which comes in CAT examination. So CAT में जो topics आते हैं, they are of a little higher level of difficulty. And if you don't know the very basics, अगर दिमाग चलना शुरू नहीं हुआ और सीधा CAT level के questions उठा लिए, so दिमाग अटक जाएगा कहीं ना कहीं. You will get stuck. You will get demotivated. ठीक है? So refrain from picking up questions of the level of difficulty of CAT at the beginning of your preparation. A lot of students does that. क्या करते हैं? Previous year CAT का पेपर उठा लिया and they tell me सर इसमें तो एक भी सेट सॉल्व नहीं हुआ लॉजिकल रीजनिंग का. कैसे होगा सॉल्व? It's of a very high level of difficulty. You don't understand the basics. Your mind is like has started working just now. So at the beginning, you need to warm up your mind. You need to fill your mind with some basic concepts and basic logics. Okay. So to start with, we can start with the topics like coding, decoding, sequence, series, blood relations, direction senses. छोटे topics हैं. And these topics are not tested in CAT examination, but I'm not wasting your time, guys. These topics will be tested in NMAT, SNAP, MHCT, all the examinations other than CAT exam. Okay, so we are not wasting our time. We are just finishing up with the very easy topics at the beginning. And these are the topics, एक बार अगर आपने इनको finish कर लिया, so you don't have to pick them again for the next 6-7 months. Okay, so you can start building up your basics. You can start warming up with these topics for the next 15-20 days. And then pick up the topics like arrangements, linear and circular arrangements, puzzles, distribution, groupings, and so on. So what we are doing is we are gradually raising the level of difficulty. We are gradually coming to the level of difficulty of CAT examination. Okay. So this kind of building up our fundamentals is required. Okay. Now let's move on to the third section, verbal ability and reading comprehension. This is the most critical, the most crucial section of CAT. Okay, the CAT exam starts with this section. The first section is verbal ability and reading comprehension. And if you have not gained confidence in this section, then it will be bad for you to handle the pressure of the next two sections. Okay. Also, if you are good in English, then you will be able to interpret the language that is used in CAT, that is used in the QA section as well as LRDI, right? Because the entire examination is in English. So your English should be good to understand the things in a faster way. Okay. So to start with, you need to build up your reading skills. Now, how to build up your reading skills? Obviously, I cannot directly start solving reading comprehension. Reading comprehension उठा लो, question solve नहीं होंगे, demotivate हो जाओगे, फिर उसको छोड़ दोगे. Okay. The only problem is not the reading speed. You don't have to develop reading speed. No. You will have to develop the entire reading skills altogether. नाउ रीडिंग स्किल्स में बहुत सारी चीजें आती हैं. One is reading speed, fine. For me, it is secondary. The most important thing is interpretation. How fast you are able to comprehend the text that you have read. Okay. So reading skills, reading speed honi chahiye. But if you have like a tremendous reading speed and you are not able to understand anything, what will you do with that reading speed? Okay, so reading as well as interpretation is very important in one go. Okay, a lot of times you will see that you have read an article in a newspaper and you are unable to understand completely what is written in that passage, right? Why it happens? We focus on reading, we don't focus on understanding. So you will have to understand all those things because you will have to answer the questions that are based on this comprehension, this passage. Okay. So to start with, what you have to do is you will have to engage yourself in extensive reading practice. So you can start with newspapers. Okay. Obviously, newspapers is the best source to practice reading comprehensions. Okay. So start reading a newspaper. In case you are not good with the language, you are average or below average with English language, you can start with easy newspapers like Hindustan Times or Times of India. Okay, if you are good with the language, good with the interpretation, you have reading habits, then you can start with some difficult newspapers like the Hindu, Economic Times, right? So इस type के newspapers से start कर सकते हैं. Okay. Now you will have to continue this reading for the next 6 months, at least 6 months, right? Before 6 months, if you are like right now, if you are average or below average in reading or with the language, then it will take you at least 5 to 6 months to be able to solve at least a few questions in this section. But after that, your progress will be very fast. So it's the first few months in which your progress will be a little slow. But if you have followed this particular thing religiously for the next 6 months, reading for at least 1.5 hour on daily basis for the next 180 days, then after 180 days, you will be able to solve maximum number of questions when it comes to reading comprehension or verbal ability or any kind of question in verbal ability, reading comprehension section of any examination, right? Now, with reading the newspaper, you will have to do two more things. Okay. One thing, you will be able to build up your grammar, right? The second thing for which a lot of efforts will be required will be building up your vocabulary. Obviously, direct vocabulary is not tested in CAT examination, but you must understand the contextual usage of any word. So एक passage में कोई भी difficult word आ गया and तुम्हें उसका meaning ही नहीं पता. You don't know even आसपास का meaning भी नहीं पता उसका, ठीक है? So you will not be able to understand the gist of that passage probably. Okay, so if your vocabulary is average or above average, then you will be able to basically, like, if you don't know the exact meaning of any word, then even without that, you'll be able to understand the meaning of that word using the contextual usage. Okay. So what you need to do is, while you are reading a newspaper or any article, let's say you encounter any difficult word. So now it's your duty to write that word in a notebook, keep maintaining a list of those difficult words and write its meaning in front of that. You can Google the meaning. Okay. So maintain a notebook with a word, its meaning, and one simple sentence of the usage of that particular word. So if you are doing it on regular basis, then I am sure that after 6 months, you will be able to see yourself at a wonderful position when it comes to BARC section of CAT examination. If you have improved yourself in language, then you will be able to understand, comprehend lots of questions in a faster way in QA as well as LRDI section. LRDI section में एक सबसे बड़ा challenge होता है, इतना बड़ा passage होता है, इतना सारा data होता है, and we are unable to comprehend that data. Okay, हमें डर लग जाता है कि इतना सारा data है, and how will I be able to understand that? So if you have developed good reading speed and good reading skills, then you will be able to do all those things in a much faster way. All right. So, friends, this is all from my side about VARC section and the other two sections as well. The masala for all of you for the next 2 or 3 months. Okay, if you will follow all these things, then your foundation, your base will be strong, and you will be able to gain proper momentum after this thing. All right, so that's all from my side. There is some important information for all of you. In case you are not a student of BYJU'S and you want to see what all things will be available to you, so you can unlock your free trial for 3 days for the portal of BYJU'S Exam Prep. Just visit our application and feed in your mobile number, and you can start your free trial for the next 3 days. All right. You can enroll for our CAT 2023 test series, which is good for CAT examination and the other management examinations. So those students who are targeting CAT and other entrance examinations this year, this particular series is meant for all those. This is the list of our CAT 2022 toppers. New batches are available for CAT 2023 comprehensive program. Okay, so below are the details of this program, what all things will be getting in this entire program. So hurry up, you can enroll in this batch. Also for CAT 2023 aspirants, All India Open Mock, which is free, will be live on 8th of September and it will be live up till 17th of September. So quickly visit our application and register for this All India free open mock for CAT 2023. Now, for all the CAT preparation programs, you can avail 90% scholarship by taking the scholarship test, which is being conducted on 10th of September at 11 a.m. Again, you can register for this scholarship test by visiting our application. Okay, so please hurry up, register now, and you can avail up to 90% scholarship. For CAT 2024 aspirants, how to manage preparation, CAT preparation with your job and studies. Very, very difficult now. We are confused यार कि studies करें college की, job है, then CAT examination है. How to manage all these things together? So Srinivas sir, in a live interactive workshop, will be answering to this particular question: how to manage preparation with job or studies. So you can register for this workshop once again by visiting our application. Okay. So friends, that is all from my side. You can get social with us on all these social media platforms. Have a wonderful time. Thank you very much for being a part of this session. Have a nice time. Bye bye.